Guys, very interesting video here because it works on several levels on how is it that you're supposed to react to an aggression, to a robbery, to someone trying to steal from you. Should you defend yourself? Of course, always. Well, yeah, kind of. It depends, really. Sometimes it's not even worth it. Let me show you what I mean in this video. So we have a guy that is walking, and you see... And these, I always say the same thing, but how can I not? This is the stuff that I always mention in my books, Street Survival Skills and Surviving the Economic Collapse. Street Survival Skills specifically for this sort of thing this is textbook, as in my own textbook, in terms of how is it that you react? What is it that you perceive as a threat? You have two people on a motorcycle. This is always a threat. Yes, if you're not living in that reality still, trust me on that. When it gets that bad, that's what you will immediately notice as a threat. So, you read my book. You understood these things. You keep these things in mind. You see a guy and two guys on a motorcycle. That is, yeah. Well, let's keep on watching. Give me your bag. No, you have it across. Chases, out of frame. He's kicking him. He's just pulling the shirt up. And he keeps on punching and kicking. This guy is not he's not a trained fighter, obviously, because there's several things he could have done that would have been a lot more efficient. And since you have him in, one of the things you train is what? You put your two hands over the head of the guy, and using one of the pads, like the one you often see there in the back, one of those pads, you start kneeing the shit out of that pad. And in this case, it would be kneeing the shit out of his face, which is, surprise, surprise, super effective. Instead of kicking like that, knee him in the face, and he will be down, far more effective. And you would only have one guy to deal with. But since this is not a gym, and this is not an octagon or a ring, there's two people, and they're kicking the crap out of you, right? And he still defends himself, being a larger guy, taller than these two, stronger apparently, and none of them know how to fight, but yeah, they just take off. So let me know what you think in the comments below, but I think there's several interesting things going on here. And again, it's so nice that you see the things you talked about, you know, the stuff that I explained in my books reflected here. Not only the two guys, but one of the things I recommend, like for women, don't have your bag like this. Why? Because if you're a woman, or if you're a guy that has decided that my bag is not worth the trouble, really, it's just not worth the trouble. What are you talking about? I'm not gonna... It's your... Dude, it is your ego getting in their way. Your ego is getting in the way of your common sense. Let me explain. They want the bag. How much money do you have in that bag? You're a guy walking back home. You don't... I would assume it's a low-income neighborhood. You're not a freaking millionaire. You don't have bars of gold in there, right? You're pulling on the bag. Well, this is something that I explain here as well, in terms of how the bag across your neck can be something that works against you. And it is so interesting to see these things, right? Bag, nope, kind of, and definitely okay. Why is it definitely okay to have it over the shoulder and instead of across the chest like that? Especially for a female with a child. Because I've actually seen this firsthand with my very own eyes. People that when they had their purse snatched, they were thrown to the floor and hurt. Now, this is a guy. He's a young man. He's a little bit taller than this other dude, so he's standing his ground. But if this had been a woman, she would be on the floor. I've seen people being dragged with a motorcycle because they just could not get loose from that strap. So yes, drag. And not only have I seen it, I've seen it in video. So it happens numerous times in dangerous places, in places where this has become kind of normal. They drag you from the strap because they want the purse, or in this case, the guy's bag. But I'm a bigger dude. I'm standing my ground. I don't see a gun. I'm gonna fight. Okay. You're gonna fight. All right. You go after him. You're bigger. You're stronger. You probably even know how to fight. Let's assume that's the case, right? You know how to fight, and these guys don't have guns. They don't have a knife. You're not getting stabbed to death. You're just fighting with this dude. This dude comes and kicks you and punches you in the face. All right. Now you fought back. Awesome. Such a badass. 2 versus 1. And they escape. Great. Really? Okay, now you go back home, you tell your story, you even have a fucking video to brag about how much of a badass you are. But you know what you also have? You have a chipped tooth. They broke a tooth when they punched you in the face. Yeah, that one fucked up. Yeah. Broke that one. Yeah, that's gonna be a couple $1,000 to fix. Maybe $3K. So you now saved your dignity, and you save your dignity, super important if you're not an objective, cool-headed person. Yeah, your ego is fine. You save the 100 fucking bucks, maybe 500 content that you have. How much money is it? $1,000 in the bag? Okay. I don't see any weapon, but okay. You now have a cool story to share, but you are 3K under, when you could have just lost the bag and avoid maybe getting stomped to death, stabbed to death, whatever the case. Even if you decided to do this, even if you could not remain cool and stop, that's the moment in which you stop. You stop right there. He's leaving. He's going away. He's going away right now. Right? Going away. You should have stopped there. Now, let's assume that you know how to fight, maybe a little bit. Maybe you just read my book. You don't even need to train much. You read my book and you learned that, yeah, going for the leg and kicking his leg is a great way to accelerate his head towards the pavement. Hell, since we're holding and I have that shirt over your head, I might as well sweep that leg, Karate Kid style, more like kickboxing or proper judo technique of going for that leg and kicking very hard. You don't need to be a black belt. You don't need even to be a blue belt. You just kick that leg very hard, and you put his head to the ground. And if that was not enough, you do the other thing that I shared in my book, which is you stomp the guy's head. Well, you know what? You crack the guy's head and you killed him. Yeah, you now have a dead guy in the street and a video of you kicking him after he escaped. Good luck with that. Guys, this is one of those tricky situations. What is it that you should have done? Honestly, you have one of those things over there. Personally, the guy has, at this point, because you read the entire thing, not just the part of kicking people in the head, you were aware. It's not about using guns or skill. It's not about kicking the shit out of people. It is awareness. You are aware of what's going on. At this point, he should have had his gun. He should have had his gun pointed at this guy. And humble opinion, I mean, the little things that I've experienced in life, people, when you point guns at them, they don't like it. At that point, you point the gun at him, and the guy goes around, and he leaves. And that's all there is to it. That's all. No one got shot. No one got killed. That would have been the best possible outcome, in my opinion. This is Monday quarterbacking easy, right? You're not in the middle of this situation. But ideally, that would have been the best way to resolve the situation. I mean, even better, if you want to go deeper into the preparedness rabbit hole, don't even be here in the first place. You're not living in a dangerous neighborhood. You're not walking down the street. You moved from freaking Temperley, where this happened, in Buenos Aires, where I used to live. This was my neighborhood, okay? So that's how I would have resolved the situation if I had been in that, and even better, not be there at all. Guys, interesting one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care.